Hello everyone. Today we will start a new chapter that is Father's Help by R.K. Narayan. So in this chapter we are going to learn about what will happen to Swami and how did he went to school and his whole story. So let us begin. Lying in the bed, Swami realized with shudder that it was Monday morning. It looked like as though only a moment ago it had been last period on Friday. Already Monday was here, and he hoped that an earthquake would reduce the school building to dust. But that gold building, the Albert Mission School, had withstood similar pillars for over 100 years now. At 9 o'clock, Swami wailed, "I have a headache." So he was lying in the bed, but then he suddenly realized that it was Monday morning and he had to go to school. He thought that only a few moments ago, he was attending the last period on Friday, and already Monday is here. He hoped that that an earthquake would reduce the size of the school to dust, but that gold building of Albert Mission School was there for 100 years now. So he hoped that the school will be reduced to dust by an earthquake, but it was not possible. At 9 a.m., Swami shouted, "I have a headache." His mother came and asked, "Why don't you go to school in a jutka so that I may be completely dead at the uh, other end? Have you any idea what it means to be jolted in a jutka? Have you any important lessons today? Important. The geography teacher has been teaching the same lessons for over a year now. We have arithmetic, which means the whole period we are going to be beaten by teachers. Important lessons. So here his mother suggests that why don't he go to school in a jutka? So jutka means a two-wheeled horse-drawn carriage. So yes, a two-wheel horse-drawn carriage. So he said that it is to go in a jutka means to be completely dead. So his mother asks, "Have you any important lessons today?" So Swami says that no, nothing, because geography teacher has been teaching the same thing for more than a year now, and the maths teacher has is beats children in every period. So and mother generously suggested that Swami might stay at home. At 9:30, when he ought to have been shouting in school prayer hall, Swami was lying in the bench in the mother's room. Father asked him, "Have you no school today?" "Headache," Swami replied. "Nonsense. Dress up and go." "Headache. Loaf less on Saturday, Sundays, and you will be without a headache on Monday." So here Swami at 9:30 a.m. when he should be praying in the prayer hall, his father came and asked, Have you no school today?" Swami said, "I have a headache." Father knew his tactic and says, "Nonsense. Dress up and go." Swami says, "No, I have a headache." So fathers gave him advice to loaf less on Sundays, to me roam less on Sundays, and he will be without a headache on Monday. Swami knew how stubborn his father could be and changed his tactics. Tactic means strategy. "I can't go so late to the class." "I agree, but you will have to. It's your own fault. You should have asked me before deciding to stay away." "What will the teacher think if I go so late?" "Tell him you have a headache and you are so late. He will beat me if I say so." "Will he? Let us see. What is his name?" "Samuel." So here, Swami knew how stubborn his father was and said that he cannot go because his teacher will beats him if he walks late into the class. So father asked, "Who is the teacher?" He said, "Samuel." "Does he beat the boy?" "Yeah, he is very violent, especially with boy who comes late. Some days ago, a boy was made to stay on his knees for whole period in the corner of a class because he came late, and that too after getting six cut came from. If he is so violent, why not tell your headmaster about it?" They say even the headmaster is afraid of him. He is such a violent man. So his father asked that what he is so violent. Does your headmaster know it? So So he says that headmaster is afraid of him because he is such a violent man. Then Swami gave a lurid account of Samuel's violence, how he started caning. He would not stop till he saw blood on boy's hand, which he made boy press to his forehead like a vermilion marking. Vermilion means like when the newly married ladies, it's like sindoor, basically. Swami hoped that Swami hoped with this his father would be able to see that he couldn't go to class late. But father's behavior took an unexpected turn. He became excited. What do these teachers mean by beating our children? They must be driven out of service. I will see. So his father took an unexpected turn that Swami thought that he would be afraid of Samuel and not send him to school, but he took it as a challenge and said that what does this teacher mean to beat our children? They must be driven out of the service. As a result, that he was proposed to send Swami late to the class as kind of a challenge. He was also sending a letter with him to headmaster. No more, no amount of protest from Swami was any avail. Swami had to go to school. So Swami had to go to school because his father gave him a letter also about Samuel. By the time he was ready, his father composed a letter to headmaster and put it in an envelope and sealed it. So he sealed the letter and gave it to Swami. Uh, so Swami asked, what have you written, father? Nothing for you. Give this to your headmaster and go up to your class. Have you written anything about our teacher Samuel? Plenty of things about him. When your headmaster reads it, it will be, it will probably he will probably dismiss Samuel from school and hand him over to the police. What has he done, father? Well, there is a lurid full account of everything he has done in this letter. Give it to your headmaster. You must bring an acknowledgement in the evening. So the letter was ready. Swami asked, what is in it? He said that there are plenty of things about Samuel, and it is so that he will send him, that Samuel must be driven out of the service and sent to the police. And this page is again, oh, sorry. Swami went to the school feeling that he was the worst perjurer on earth. His conscience bothered him. He wasn't at all sure if he had been accurate in his description about Samuel. He could not decide how much of what he had done, he had said was imagined and how much of it was real. He stopped for a moment on roadside to make up his mind about Samuel. He was not such a bad man after all. Personally, he was much more genial than rest. Often he cracked a joke or two centering around Swami's inactions, and Swami took as a mark of Samuel's personal regard for him. But there was no doubt he uh, teacher, treated people badly. His cane skinned people's hand. Swami cast his mind for an instance of this. There was none within his knowledge. Years and years ago, he was reputed to have skinned knuckles of a boy in first standard and made him smear the blood on his face. No one had actually seen it, but year after year, story persisted among the boys. So here, uh, Swami was in a great depression actually. That what I have done. Samuel was not such a bad teacher. He thought about Samuel, but he thought that okay, there are good things, but there is one bad thing that his cane skinned people's hand. That means his cane was so uh, strong that it can skin people's hand. Uh, so yeah, yes, this and also then years and years ago he caned one boy in regard. I mean, it's a story of a boy who was caned by him. But year after year, the story preceptor Swami's head was dizzy with confusion in regard to Samuel's character, whether he was good or bad. whether he deserved the allegations in the letter or not. Swami felt an impulse to run home and beg his father to take back the letter, but father was an obsolete man. That means father was a stubborn man, he will not take the letter. And Swami was in great dispute that was he a good man or not. As he approached the yellow building, he realized that he was perjuring himself and ruining his teacher. Probably the headmaster would dismiss Samuel, and then the police would chain him and put him to jail. For all this disgrace, humiliation, and suffering, who would be responsible? Swami shuddered. The more of he thought of Samuel, the more he grieved him. The dark face, his small red streaked eyes, his thin line of mustache, his unshaven cheek and chin, his yellow coat, everything filled Swami with sorrow. As he felt the bulge of the letter in the pocket, he felt as an executioner. For the moment, he was angry with his father that uh, yes, he was angry with his father that why he did so and so on. That wondered why he should not fling into gutter. The letter of a man was so unreasonable and stubborn. So when he got to school, the yellow building of his Albert Mission School, he realized that he was ruining the life of a teacher, and headmaster would dismiss Samuel immediately. So as he entered the school gate, an idea occurred to him, a sort of solution. He wouldn't deliver the letter to the headmaster immediately, but at the end of the day, to an extent, he would disobey his father and exercise his independence. There was nothing wrong in it, and father would not know it anyway. If the letter was given at the end of the day, there was a chance that Samuel might do something to justify the letter. Swami stood at the entrance of his class. Samuel was teaching arithmetics. He looked up at Swami for a moment, and Swami stood, hoping that Samuel would follow him and tear his skin off. But Samuel merely asked, "Are you just coming to the class?" Swami replied, "Yes, sir. You are half an hour late." "I know it." Swami hoped that he would be attacked. He almost prayed, "God, please make Samuel beat me. Why are you so late?" Swami wanted to reply just to see what can you do, but he merely said, "I have an headache." So when he entered the class, Samuel was teaching arithmetic, that means maths, and his teacher asked him, "Are you late?" and so on. He thought every time his teacher said he would come and beat him, but it did not happen. "Then why did you come school at all?" A most unexpected question from Samuel. "My father said that I shouldn't miss the class, sir," said Samuel. This seemed to impress Samuel. "Your father is quite right. A very sensible man. We want more parents like him." "You don't know what my father has done to you," Swami thought. He was more puzzled than ever about Samuel's character. "All right, go to your seat. Have you still a headache?" "Slightly, sir." Swami went to his seat with a bleeding heart. So here he asked that, "Why did you come to school?" He said that because father told, and he said that father was quite right and there should be more people like his father. Swami thought that you don't know what father has done to you. And when he asked about his headache, he said that yes, he has slightly a headache. Swami went to his seat with a bleeding heart. He had never met a man such as good as Samuel. His teachers was insep- inspect, uh, inspecting the home lessons, which usually produced, at least according to Swami's in impressions, scenes of great violence. Notebook would be flung at all faces, boys would be abused, caned, and made to stand on benches. But today, Swami appeared, Samuel appeared to have developed more tolerance and gentleness. He pushed away bad books, just touched people with cane, never made anyone stand for more than a few minutes. Swami turn came. He also thanked God for a chance. "Swaminathan, where is your homework?" "I have not done it, sir." he said blandly. There was a pause. Why headache? Yes, sir. All right, sit down. So Swami thought that he would be caned, but no, wasn't, and the period came to an end. The last period was taken again by Samuel to teach the history, Indian history. The period began at 3:45 and ended at 4:30. Swami sat through the previous period thinking acutely. He could not devise any means of provoking Samuel. When the clock struck 4, Swami felt desperate. Half an hour more. Samuel was reading the text portion describing Vasco da Gama's arrival in India, the boy's legend in half language. So period began at 3:45 and ended at 4:30, so 45-minute period as normal. And he was thinking accurately what should be the way of provoking Samuel. But the 15 minutes were over and he did not think of anything. So suddenly, at top of his voice, he asked, "Why did Columbus not came to India, sir? He lost his way." "I can't believe it, sir. It is unbelievable." "Why? He is such a great man. He should have not. Would he have not known the way?" "Don't shout. I can hear you quite well." "I am not shouting, sir. This is my ordinary voice, which God has given me. How can I help it?" So Swami, the period began, and he wanted to provoke Samuel, and he asked at top of his voice. He shouted that he's asked some irrelevant questions, and when his teacher said, "Why are you shouting?" and he said that, "I am not shouting. This is my ordinary voice, which God has given me. How can I help it?" "Shut up and sit down." Swami sat down, slightly happier at his success. The teacher threw a puzzled, suspicious glance at him and resumed his lesson. Next chance occurred when Sankar, or the first bench, got up and asked, "Sir, Vasco da Gama was the first person to come to India." But before the teacher could answer, Swami shouted from the back bench at top of his voice, "That's what they say." The teacher and all the boys looked at Swami. The teacher was puzzled by Swami's obstructive behavior today. "Swami, you are shouting again." "I'm not shouting, sir. How can I help my voice given by God?" The school clock struck quarter hour, a quarter more. Quarter means 15 minutes more. Swami must do something drastic. Within 15 minutes, Samuel had scrolled at him and snubbed him. It was hardly adequate. Swami felt a little more effort Samuel could make. So it means he's thought that I think I should continue this and do something. So a person asked a doubt, "What's the date of Vasco da Gama arrival in India?" Swami shouted 1648 December 20. Any date, he shouted. You needn't shout," said the teacher. Has your headache made you mad?" "I have no headache now, sir." "Sit down, you idiot." Swami was thrilled at being called an idiot. "If you get up again, I will cane you." So Swami knows that he has to do one more time to be caned. Then the teacher asked, "I have been going to put your questions on the Mughal period. Among the Mughal emperors, whom would be the greatest, whom would be the strongest, and whom would be the religious emperor?" Swami got up. As soon as he was seen, the teacher said, "Sit down." "I want to answer, sir." "Sit down." "No, sir, I want to answer." "What did I say?" "If you do got up again, you said you would cane me and pin the skill of my knuckles and make it press on my forehead." "All right, come here." Swami left his seat joyfully and hopped onto the platform. So he was succeeded, and the teacher said, "Open your hand, you little devil." He whacked 3 wholesome cuts on each palm. Swami received them without blenching, man. That means without pain. After a half a dozen, "With these two, or you want some more?" Swami held out his hand again and received 2 more. And the bell rang. Swami jumped down from the platform with a light heart, though his hand was smarting, means paining. His was much pain. He picked up his book, took the letter lying in a pocket, and ran to the headmaster room. He found the door locked. He asked the peon, "Where is the headmaster? Why do you want him?" My father has sent a letter for him. He has taken the afternoon off and won't come back for a week. You can give his letter to the assistant headmaster. He will be here now. Who is he? Your teacher Samuel. He will be here in a second. So he goes to the headmaster but sees the door locked. So he asks the PN, where is the headmaster? And PN says that he has taken a week off and the headmaster is assistant headmaster is Samuel. So you must give letter to him. But Swaminathan couldn't give letter to Samuel uh, about Samuel's violent behavior. I knew you wouldn't deliver it. You coward when Swami went home. I swear headmaster is on leave. Father replied, don't lie in addiction to be a coward. Swami held up an envelope and said, I will give this to headmaster as soon as he is back. Father snatched it for him, tore it up and thrust it into a waste paper basket under his table. And he muttered, don't come to me for help even if Samuel throttles you. You deserve your Samuel. So that ends our chapter. In the last in last he means that when he goes to his father, he says that he knew that he wouldn't give it, so he shows that I will give as soon as the headmaster is back. But he tore the letter and said that don't come to me for help even if Samuel beats you. So this chapter was written by R.K. Narayan, and you can read the description about him. He was one of the earliest and one of the best Indian writers in English. He created fiction South Indian town called of Malgudi and set up most of his popular works in it. This story is taken from his short story collection Malgudi Days of 1942. Swami, however, was earlier in a uh, literary creation of the subject of his novel Swami and Friends in 1935. So there are two novels of him. He has this extract has been taken from Swami and Friends, but he made a imaginary town of Malgudi, and he described more of Malgudi in this chapter, in this book. So you can read it if you want. So that was all for the chapter today. If you like, please do like, share, subscribe, and comment, and please press the notification bell to do not miss any of our videos. And this is the end. Thank you very much. Yes. So uh, just last thing that if this chapter comes, if you have any doubts regarding to this chapter, you can ask me in the comments. I will be more than happy to help. So yes, thank you, and just have a nice day. Thank you, and just have a nice day.